This is your evening news on News Channel 10, WRMS Cleveland, with Carli, Luca, and Jasmine Brown. Sports with Kyle Lewandowski, and weather with Chris Baughman.
Good evening, I'm Carli, Luca.
And I'm Jasmine, Giselle. This is your Channel 10 News.
For one Cleveland resident, David Buchanan, a 20-year rape and robbery spree has seemingly come to an end. After already being charged for one case of rape in 2006, Buchanan now faces 4 more charges of rape, along with charges of robbery and kidnapping. The alleged cases have been raised by the processing of rape kits brought to light by the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation and Sexual Assault Kit Task Force. Buchanan already has a history of criminal charges, including kidnapping, drug-related activity, and car theft.
As his death looms ever nearer, his appeal for life has once again been denied. Convicted of murder and sentenced to death in 2011, Anthony Sowell once again stood before the Ohio Supreme Court accompanied by his state-appointed attorney. The defense has recently made the claim that Sowell's death sentence should be reduced to life in prison. The defense attorney claims the press coverage of the Sowell trial has affected the jury's decision to convict. Sowell has been charged with the murder of no less than 11 women, and the death sentence still stands.
An investigation at Chardon High School could bring to light a lurid affair between student and teacher. Ty Merkel, a part-time tutor and coach in Chardon, Ohio, has been put on administrative leave pending investigation of an alleged relationship between himself and one of his students. The school has issued a statement that they will cooperate with the law enforcement to ensure that the matter is dealt with quickly and thoroughly, and that they will in no way tolerate any behavior that jeopardizes the welfare of their students. Merkel has been scheduled for arraignment later this week.
2 people are seriously injured after shots were fired in an Akron home. According to police, 3 children were inside the home when the shots were fired. The police have stated that 2 occupants in the home were returning gunfire after being shot at by 2 unknown men. One occupant was shot twice and the other was shot in the face. The children were unharmed and have been placed in protective custody with Children's Services.
A local Clevelander has found a new approach to food preparation. Our own Tracy Potts has the story.
What started out as a childhood dream has now flourished into a lucrative business for Chef Ben and his adorable family out here on Spice Acres. I'm standing here on 13 acres of land, and this is where Chef Ben makes all the magic happen. All the delicious spices, herbs, and seasonings that he puts into all his delicious meals is where it starts, right here, homegrown. Successful businessman, entrepreneur, and restaurateur Ben Bebenroth is living proof that dreams actually do come true when you apply hard work, diligence, and determination. Miles deep in the quiet road of Riverview and Brecksville, Ohio, is the 13-acre farmland Chef Ben and his adorable family call home. It's also the location of Spice Acres, where Chef Ben grows his own delicious-tasting spices, seasonings, and vegetables that gives his food those fresh, savory flavors that keep his customers craving for more. As owner of the Spice Kitchen and Bar in the Gordon Square Art District, Ben and his beautiful wife Jackie take pride in building something that can be passed down from generation to generation in their family, in addition to Ben's unwavering passion for agriculture and the outdoors.
Spice Acres. Well, we are a 13-acre farm in the Cuyahoga Valley National Park, part of the Countryside Conservancy. There are 11 leases on land out here in the valley, and there are 2 more that just got leased. We've been here for 2 years, and we do a lot of mixed vegetable production and a little bit of livestock. We got some pigs and some laying hens, and yeah, we funnel everything into the restaurant, Spice Kitchen and Bar, and our catering company, Spice Acres.
Ben's military training played a vital role in how he manages the multiple duties on the farm.
So my military training definitely comes in handy because I was trained as a helicopter mechanic in the Marine Corps. So anytime tractor breaks or anything, it's a good opportunity to put those skills back to work, save a little bit of money, and have a better understanding of like what's going on with the machinery here.
The cost can sometimes be cumbersome when growing plants and vegetables on your own farm.
To our own restaurant, they're $5 a dozen because they're a non-GMO food. They're also on pasture every day, so we're rotating them around. And that in itself is double what you can buy eggs for from a large food distributor. So
Ben says it's worth it to know he and his family are eating healthy, nutritious meals with no chemicals or artificial flavoring, stating that he only uses non-GMO feed for his animals, which are a lot more expensive. But hey, look at the results. Don't you want a bite of this mouth-watering pizza? I'm Tracy Potts reporting for OMS News. Now back to you in the studio.
In a turn of events, Cleveland City Council has voted 13-3 to change the minimum age to buy cigarettes to 21 in Cleveland. Stores are no longer able to sell any tobacco products, including e-cigarettes, to persons under the age of 21. If caught, the first offense carries a 30-day jail sentence along with a $250 fine. Any additional offense could potentially mean a 90-day jail sentence. Along with this ruling, they have also passed a resolution to only hire non-smoking city employees by 2017.
A young man was found dead in a hotel room in Greene, Ohio. 16-year-old Andrew Fry allegedly died from a heroin overdose at the Super 8 hotel. His mother, Heather Fry, told detectives she wanted to be the fun weekend mom. Her intentions were to celebrate receiving her income tax check by taking her son swimming at the hotel. Summit County Sheriff Steve Berry referred to his death as a senseless tragedy. Berry said they believe Andrew passed away from heroin provided to him by his mother and grandmother. Heather Fry has been charged with involuntary manslaughter, endangering children, and tampering with evidence. Brenda Fry was charged with involuntary manslaughter, drug trafficking, and corruption of a minor.
The Zika virus is causing more alarm than first thought. The mosquito-borne virus is becoming a major threat to pregnant women, causing microcephaly where the newborns have unusually small brains. Brazil has been the epicenter of this outbreak over the last year, and most of Latin America and the Caribbean are high-risk travel areas. The CDC has discouraged pregnant women from traveling to these destinations. In adults, the Zika virus is known to cause neurological damage. The president has asked Congress to allocate $1.9 billion for research, treatment, and prevention of the virus.
Sleep tight, don't let the bedbugs bite. Recently, the Cuyahoga Falls School District reported a case of bedbugs in one of the rooms in the Cuyahoga Falls High School building. The room was treated by an exterminator on Friday, but the bugs reappeared on Monday when the students returned to class. The exterminator verified that the situation was isolated to a singular classroom. The district chose not to induce panic by informing the community and will continue to work with all parties involved.
Coming up after the break, updates on the Amber Alert for a local teenager.
And do we have a warm-up coming? Chris has your forecast coming up. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us here on the Channel 10 News.
Authorities have canceled the Amber Alert for 15-year-old Chagrin Falls teenager Catherine Marie Michelle. She was reported missing Tuesday morning around 11:30 a.m. Before being located, Catherine was last seen at Chagrin Falls High School wearing a gray hoodie, blue jeans, and black flats. Police believe she may have been riding in a red four-door Dodge Dart with the sunroof and a custom wheels. Police say she suffers with depression, was suspected to be suicidal, and is currently taking prescribed medications. Catherine was located around 6 p.m. and is currently safe.
Taliban sources are reporting that 6 senior members of ISIS, along with the group of fighters, are defecting from the extremist group, pledging their allegiance to the Taliban's leader on Monday. Although the Taliban is known for their own extremist ways, members have spoken out against the ways that ISIS treats civilians after ISIS leadership ordered for the burning of villages, seizing of livestock, and beheading of villagers. The Taliban has now identified ISIS as their main enemy, no longer the United States.
What 4 Ohio cities have in common might surprise you. After an American community survey from the Census Bureau, Cleveland, Akron, Toledo, and Dayton made the top 10 list of the laziest cities in America. The laziest cities were determined by a strongly researched set of criteria, including shortest commute time, lowest average hours worked, and fewest workers per household.
Canton is considering a new ordinance that would allow people to carry open containers of alcohol. The name of the ordinance is called DORA, which stands for Designated Outdoor Refreshment Area. A second hearing will be held next month at the Canton City Council meeting to go over the ordinance. The open container area would include downtown Canton, which houses the Canton Brewing Company. The Ohio Division of Liquor Control will review this legislation and make sure it abides by state guidelines. According to the Canton Law Director, the ordinance is expected to pass.
Donald Trump's children will be unable to vote for him in the New York primary. Eric and Ivanka Trump, who are currently not registered with any political party, needed to change their registration to Republican by October 9, 2015 in order to be eligible to vote in the primary. The rule has states The rule states that anyone who wants to vote must register by March 25th unless you are changing parties, in which case you must do so by October 9th. Ivanka has stated that she and Eric are very supportive of their father and look forward to casting their vote for him in November.
Speaking of the presidential race, Cleveland will be hosting the Republican National Convention this summer. Channel 10's own Andrew Mann has the latest developments.
Thank you, Carli and Jasmine. I'm currently in downtown Cleveland, where the Republican National Convention will be rolling into town July 18th through the 21st. Downtown Cleveland is about to have a busy week. And no, I'm not talking about the Cleveland Indians or the Cleveland Cavaliers, who just passed the first round of the playoffs last Sunday. I am talking about the Republican National Convention. But what is the Republican National Convention? The Republican National Convention is the presidential nomination convention of the Republican Party of the United States. Governed by the Republican National Committee, the stated purpose of the convocation is to nominate an official candidate in an upcoming U.S. presidential election, and to adopt the party platform and rules to the election cycle. What changes is Cleveland making to prepare for the Republican National Convention here in Cleveland, Ohio? Cleveland is trying to revamp the city before the RNC with a lot of construction, ranging from streets to sidewalks to the historic public square. Downtown Cleveland is stocked with local businesses which are going to get a major boom in business from the Republican National Convention, which is set to take place between July 18th and July 21st. While Donald Trump is poised to win the nomination with the most pledged delegates currently at 845, it is almost assured that Donald Trump will walk away with the nomination. Senator Ted Cruz is in second place with 559 pledged delegates. John Kasich is in third place with 148 pledged delegates. The RNC has been around for just over 150 years, and many cities have hosted this illustrious event. Chicago and Philadelphia has held the convention the most out of any other city. This is only the third time Cleveland has hosted the Republican National Convention. The last time Cleveland hosted the Republican National Convention was in 1924, where President Calvin Coolidge of Massachusetts was elected the presidential nominee, and Charles G. Dawes of Illinois was elected the vice presidential nominee. Who will be this year's nominee? While the playoffs are still going on, Cleveland is looking forward to the Republican National Convention, as you can tell by all of the construction that is happening. Alongside the beautiful buildings and beautiful monuments, Cleveland is ready. I only have one question left for you. Are you ready? From WOMS, this is Andrew Mann.
A retired police officer made a suicide attempt in a Georgia courtroom after being convicted of child molestation. 58-year-old Celeste Two Hearts Lori reportedly drank an unknown liquid as the verdict was being read. The liquid was later determined to be poisonous by deputies. Lori's suicide attempt was thwarted as he was taken to a nearby hospital to receive treatment and will receive sentencing at a later date. The former law enforcer faces 2 life sentences plus 40 years for abuse to a 9-year-old victim, which took place in 2011 and 2012.
A woman in Seattle was killed after an online date went wrong. Ingrid Lynn was last seen just before attending a Seattle Mariners game. She was reported missing when the police didn't show to pick up her 3 children the following day. Investigators found a severed head and foot belonging to Lynn and have since arrested John Robert Charlton for investigation of homicide. Charlton and Lynn had met online in February and had been dating ever since. Charlton does have a long criminal background, which includes misdemeanors for battery and assault.
Is it warming up in Cleveland? Chris has all the answers for us after break.
And Kyle will bring us an update on the beloved Cavaliers on their hunt for the championship. Welcome back to the Channel 10 News. I'm Carli Luca.
And I'm Jasmine Giselle.
A massive thunderstorm emerged over Dallas on Monday, producing a hailstorm with hail larger than a baseball. The hail blasted homes and cars, causing extensive damage to the area. This storm follows a similar occurrence just a couple weeks prior, when Dallas suffered another hailstorm which caused as much damage. Many homeowners are devastated by the repair process, as they are having to go through it again after just completing repairs to the windows on their cars and homes from the last storm's damages.
And now, Chris Baughman with this weekend's weather.
And Carli, for the temperatures now, we have 82 Elyria, 80 Cleveland, up along the lake in Mentor, 77 degrees, 76 Ashtabula, 75 Warren, Akron 78, down in Worcester 80 degrees, Canton 77, and Mansfield 81. For the record, today's high was 82 degrees with a low of 64. The normal is 78 degrees with a low of 59 degrees. A record high in 1944 at 96 degrees with a record low of 41 in 1950. Sunrise at 5:54 a.m. and sunset at 9:04 p.m. And as you see on our satellite and radar here, we have a line of storms moving in from the west. Some severe, so as you will see in our upcoming forecast here, we are going to see some of those storms shortly. In our evening cast, 7 o'clock, we have some showers and thunderstorms, a high of 77 degrees. At 9 o'clock, the temperatures are going to start dropping, 73 degrees with some rain. And then midnight, the clouds are going to start to clear, sprinkles here and there, 66 degrees. Tomorrow, we're going to see the temperatures start to drop as we see Cleveland 71 degrees, Detroit 76 degrees, Grand Rapids 74 degrees, and down in Indianapolis 88 degrees. And Thursdays, when those storms start rolling in, we see the temperature start to rise, 84 in Cleveland, 90 in Columbus, 84 Detroit, 83 in the Grand Rapids. And as those storms come through, that's going to bring some muggy and sticky weather for us. So make sure you have your mosquito repellent ready because you're sure going to need it with this muggy and sticky weather. As for tonight, we're going to see some heavy rain and thunderstorms with a high of 65 degrees. Make sure you stay tuned to First Alert for any severe updates on the weather near you. But this heavy rain should bring some heavy sleep, so be ready for that rain, guys. As for tomorrow, we're going to see some morning drizzle that's going to have some slick roads to begin on your morning commute. But as the day goes on, mostly cloudy skies, cool 71 degrees. And for the lake tomorrow, we have west to northwest winds, 7 to 17 knots, waves 1 to 3 feet, and the water temperature 62 degrees. I suggest you don't swim in that weather, guys. And for your 7-day forecast, we have a high on Wednesday at 71 degrees, and as you see Thursdays, those thunderstorms roll in, 84 degrees. Heading into the weekend, the skies will start to clear, and then Saturday and Sunday, 78, 83 degrees, and the warmer weather is going to be coming, guys. Monday and Tuesday, 83 and 87. Back to you, Jasmine and Carli.
Thank you, Chris. After what seemed to many like a 5-year hiatus, Season 6 of HBO's hit series Game of Thrones debuted on Sunday as 10.7 million people tuned in to see who will gain the upper hand in the Battle of the Seven Kingdoms. The show, which is based off of the book series A Song of Fire and Ice by George R.R. Martin, has received rave reviews over the first 5 seasons. The series premiere recapped the previous 5 seasons while setting the storylines for this installment of the series. The remaining episodes for the new season of Game of Thrones air Sundays at 9 p.m. East Coast time on HBO.
One lucky Star Wars fan has made the purchase of a lifetime. Harrison Ford placed the Han Solo jacket from the most recent Star Wars film up for sale at an online auction. The jacket sold for a stunning $191,000. Ford won't be keeping the money he made off the jacket, as he will be donating the proceeds to the NYU Langone Medical Center and the Faces Foundation, which funds research for epilepsy. Ford's 25-year-old daughter Georgia has epilepsy and is being treated at the New York City hospital. When we return, we have Kyle Lewandowski with the sports and a woman's heroic tale of survival in the desert. Welcome back to the Channel 10 News, and now we go to Kyle Lewandowski with the sports update.
Thank you, Carli. The Akron Rubber Ducks are gearing up to start their first homestand. We've sent Patrick Mulholland out to Canal Park to capture the festivities.
Thanks, Kyle. I'm here at Canal Park in Akron, Ohio, where it is opening day. The Akron Rubber Ducks are taking on the Bowie Bay Sox, and as you can see behind me, they are just about ready to play. The game starts in just a couple hours, but there are lots of fun festivities going on here down at the ballpark. The road is closed at the corner of Main and State Streets for opening day celebrations. The University of Akron's Steel Drum Band entertains guests as they walk through on their way to the stadium. There's a ride-along train available for the kids, as well as some adults. There are 2 bouncy castles, balloon animals, and face painting, as well as a mobile video game theater, which provides Xbox, PlayStation, and Wii games for eager players. There's even a petting zoo available, and it comes with sheep, goats, chickens, and even rabbits and a cow. We met with Ashley from Game Bar and Grill, who has been waiting all winter for this day.
I am very excited. We're supposed to have 5,000 people. It's supposed to be almost a sold-out game. We're supposed to be super busy. So,
home and away teams are on the field getting prepped up for today's game, even taking batting practice. Even the mascots are getting pumped up for today's game. We met with the former mayor of Newcomerstown, Ohio, Jim Carr, who is an avid fan of the Rubber Ducks.
I've been here the last 6 opening days, and just about every one of them's been sold out or close to it.
Cleveland Indian Michael Brantley will play here as part of his rehab assignment.
It'll be good to watch him rehab and maybe be able to talk to him long enough to get an autograph for my granddaughter.
Akron has even won the bid for this year's All-Star Game, which will have coverage of those festivities as they come. As you can see, it's going to be fun here tonight. This game starts in just a couple hours, so if you've got the time, come on down and see the game. Again, it's the Akron Rubber Ducks versus the Bowie Bay Sox, opening night here at Canal Park. I'm Patrick Mulholland with WOMS News.
Former New Orleans Saint defensive end Will Smith has lost his life after being shot in the back 7 times. The shooting took place after a series of traffic events escalated into a confrontation between Smith and the gunman Cardell Hayes. The 28-year-old Hayes has been charged with second-degree murder and is being held by authorities. Smith's wife, Raquel, was also shot twice in the leg and was transported to a local hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The 34-year-old Smith last played for the Saints in 2012. Cleveland.com is reporting that Cleveland Browns wide receiver Josh Gordon has had his petition for reinstatement denied by the NFL. The 25-year-old Gordon was serving his year-long suspension for repeat violations of the league's drug policy when he reportedly failed another drug test last month. Gordon set a franchise record in 2013 when he led the league with 1,446 receiving yards while only playing in 14 games due to a previous suspension. The possibility still remains for Gordon to suit up this fall as the wide receiver may reapply for reinstatement August 1st. The NBA playoffs are underway and the Cleveland Cavaliers are off to a fast start after sweeping the Pistons in the first round. After a loss to the Golden State Warriors in last year's NBA Finals, the Cavs are fully healthy and look to be on a mission to bring Cleveland its first championship since 1964. The team seems to have finally figured out how to play with one another as everybody played a part in the 4-game sweep of the Pistons. Kyrie Irving has come out firing in the playoffs, averaging 27.5 points through the first 4 games. The Cavs will face the winner of the Atlanta Hawks and the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference semifinals, which begin Monday, May 2nd at Quicken Loans Arena. With that, this has been your Channel 10 Sports Update. Back to you, Carli.
Thanks, Kyle. Retired bus driver Diana Bedwell was found alive in the Los Coyotes Indian Reservation northeast of San Diego after a 15-day search. The 68-year-old and her husband, Cecil Knutson, were stranded in a disabled vehicle while going to visit their son in Palm Springs. The son contacted authorities when his parents didn't arrive. An off-road motorist discovered the elderly couple's vehicle in time for Bedwell, who was diabetic, to be airlifted to a hospital and treated for severe dehydration. Her husband died before help arrived. The two were married over 25 years.
Thank you for joining us tonight from WOMS News. I'm Jasmine Giselle.
And I'm Carli Luca. Join us tomorrow.